Hey, this is Jungle Jenna, and this is my review of Signs, starring Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, Abigail Breslin, Rory Culkin, and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, back when he was good. So I have seen Split since then, and I thought that the trailer for Split looked a lot better than the movie actually was. Like I was very disappointed in Split, and I'm kind of but I'm still curious to see like if he ends up doing a follow up, just because Split is in the same universe as Unbreakable. So I'm kind of curious to see where he goes with it, even though like I was disappointed in it. And so anyway, I have a long history with Signs. I can't believe it's going to be 16 years old this coming August. I saw it when I was 10 years old. I had just barely turned 10, and I can see my dog behind me flipping a toy around that she's not supposed to be playing with, so excuse me. But yeah, anyway, so I saw Signs 16 years ago when it first came out in the movie theater, and at first my parents went to go see it with their spouses, their respective spouses. They my stepmom and my stepdad, and I remember my dad was disappointed in the ending of Signs, which will be spoiled in this review. I'm going to be talking about that later. And I think my mom, she was kind of like, she thought that the aliens looked ridiculous and just kind of hokey, so it ruined the suspense for both of them. But I really wanted to go see it. So my mom took me to go see it kind of towards the end of its theatrical release. And when we walked into the theater, it was completely empty. She and I were the only ones in there. And that really added to my experience because the movie freaking flipped me out. Like, I just was totally freaked out by this movie. And I actually still am to this day. Like, it's one of those movies that, because it's not violent or gory, like, I can stand to watch it, but it totally freaks me out. And I just recently rewatched it a couple of days ago, and since then, like, I haven't been able to sleep that well. I've had to sleep with the light on. I'm constantly looking over my shoulder. And that's how it was when I left the theater back when I was 10 years old. And it was actually funny because I was so freaked out that I actually ran out of the theater, and I was trying to go through the wrong door, and this door was locked. And so I was like frantically pulling on this door to try to get it open, and I was thinking like, "Oh no, I'm locked into this theater." And all of a sudden, like, my mom just casually walks through the right door, and I'm like, "Okay, so we're not trapped. This was open the whole time." So yeah, I felt like a major dork when that happened, but it was all good. Makes for a good memory. So, Signs reminds me a lot of movies like A Quiet Place because both movies focus on families that live on farms and they're kind of isolated. And it's, this family's experience of an alien invasion told from their perspective only, and really doesn't include any other perspectives. And I would have to say that I think that Signs does a much better job of doing this than A Quiet Place. Like, I reviewed A Quiet Place not that long ago, and I thought it was a good movie, but I wasn't like, it didn't leave an impression on me the way that Signs has over the years. Like, Signs has stayed with me, and I've carried it with me, and the characters had an emotional impact on me, and I felt attached to them, and I cared about what happened to them. Whereas in A Quiet Place, I felt like I barely got to know the family, and I didn't like really have the chance to really like care about them the way that I cared about the ones in Signs. So I'm just gonna say straight off that the ending does not bother me at all. The fact that the aliens are that their weakness is water, and that water has this acidic effect on them, that doesn't bother me in the least. It actually kind of like diffuses their threat a little bit in like a merciful way, because I felt like before that I was just totally freaked out by them. And so it was kind of nice to have like that tension diffused somewhat, just because it was so unrelenting like the rest of the film. But I really didn't have an issue with the way that it ended, and I thought that it kind of was all a part of this theme of how of destiny and fate and things being meant to be, and a higher power orchestrating things to come together full circle, you know all that good stuff. So I really didn't have a problem with the ending at all. And when other people tend to like nitpick the movie, like I feel defensive of it, because I feel like it's a good movie that is like worth praise, and um and that kind of stuff. So I kind of feel defensive of the movie, just because I think that it's really, really well made, and it's very suspenseful. And I think that one of the things that makes the movie so successful is that it's just very simple. There's a simplicity to it, even in terms of the way that the aliens look and how they're presented. They are because they're CGI, which it's actually very hard to tell that they're CGI, because they're still like in shadow even when you do see them. And the only thing that you can really see is like their eyes, which they have like a little bit of reflection on their eyes, which actually makes them look that much freakier, because they have like these beady little eyes and this tall forehead, and they don't appear to have like a nose or a mouth. There's only one shot of the aliens where they look hokey and CGI, and it's when the water falls on the alien's shoulder, and their skin kind of dissolves, and you kind of get to see the alien like in full light, and that at that point like the alien looks fake, and it looks hokey and not scary. But aside from that, like the design of the aliens was very, very simple. They're kind of human like. And I'm a huge fan of The Shape of Water, and I was thinking that this is like the aliens and signs are like the evil twin of the amphibian man in The Shape of Water. So they both like look so similar, except the amphibian man from The Shape of Water, he like looks adorable and sweet, and he's like a good boy. So and the aliens from Signs are like, the evil version. So, and they do come across as very like malevolent and threatening, and there's almost something kind of desperate about them. So it makes you wonder like why they did come to Earth, and why they are like harvesting people and stuff like that. So the movie doesn't really go too much into detail on like the aliens and why they're on Earth, which actually kind of creates more mystery and more suspense, because you don't like really have the full picture. You just have the experience of what it was like to go through the invasion, and to have, aliens trying to get into your house at night, and them trying to break down the doors and get through the windows, which is a very freaky experience. And I like how we don't get to see like the aliens overly much, because it kind of leaves like it leaves enough to your imagination, and knowing that they're there and like being aware of their presence but not being able to see them kind of just like heightens that tension, and really like freaks me out. So there are a lot of good scare moments in this movie, but there's also a lot of heart. Like I actually like cried when Rory Culkin's character ends up, he ends up being resuscitated, and he says, "Dad," and "Did someone save me?" And Mel Gibson was acting so well when he was crying and he had tears streaming down his face. And, in that moment, like you can really see that his faith has been restored, because he plays this character who's a former priest who's lost his faith in God and a higher power in general after his wife died. And so this whole experience with the alien invasion, like you see moments where you can like identify with that place of utter helplessness and being like at rock bottom, never believing that you're going to be able to climb your way out of that situation. But then they're able to, and everything kind of comes together in this very cohesive way. And so to him it proves that there is this higher power, and there is such thing as um fate, and miracles, and you know believing in something greater. And so he ends up becoming a priest again at the end, um and his faith is restored. So it's also a very emotional movie, and the scenes involving Mel Gibson and his wife, when he's talking to her for the last time, that's a very emotional scene. And the fate of their dogs, both of their dogs. One, Rory Culkin, his character kills the first dog, and the second one is attacked by the aliens. So that's like very emotional and also freaky. So there are just like little things, like even just the animals, peeing on themselves and attacking people, and getting mean and aggressive because they sense a predator, that like gives me chills every time. And it's just a very like it's just a very good movie, and it plays on like the quietness and the isolation. um so yeah, I absolutely loved the movie, and it was like so amazing to like revisit it, and to have that experience again, 16 years later. I have seen it since then, like between when I first saw it and now, but it's been like a really long time since I last saw it, probably like easily more than 10 years ago. um Probably around the time that I was like maybe 12 or 13. That was the last time I saw it. And so I don't have it on DVD yet. I just like ordered it through Amazon streaming, or I rented it. So I would really like to actually buy it so I can have it on DVD. And I have to like get over this ridiculous fear I have of the aliens in the movie, and I have to overcome this because it's such a good movie, and I want to watch it like repeatedly. So I don't want to have to go through this experience every time where I'm like sleeping with the lights on and like terrified, and looking over my shoulder every 2 seconds. So yeah, I can't be having that. So I need to like keep watching the movie so I can desensitize myself to the suspensefulness of it. But yeah, that's like a testament to how good it is, though, that it can reach me on that level, and can freak me out like that. So I know that it's not, it hasn't affected other people the exact same way. Some people think that it's a hokey movie, or that it's ridiculous, but I personally think that it's a very good scary movie, and it's very creepy, and it's probably one of the creepiest movies that I've ever seen. And it's my favorite alien invasion movie, and one of my favorite PG-13 scary movies because I can't watch the gory, violent ones. So I hope that you enjoyed my review, and if you have any thoughts on Signs, or want to contribute to what I said, feel free to leave comments in the comment section. Um, and I will be coming back with other reviews for other things. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.